Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Freeing Your Mind podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Dukeman, and today with me I have Raynei Villarreal. And I'm having Rainey on this show today just to kind of change things up a little bit. He's got a great story, great message, and anything positive I want to share with the world and anything real. So, Rainey, how you doing, brother?
Good, bro. How you doing?
Doing good.
Excited to be here, man, and talk to you.
Yeah, I'm glad this worked out. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do,
Yeah.
your
So
background?
I'm originally from Venezuela. Um, Came here when I was 18 years old, and moving here, I realized this is the land of the opportunities. There's opportunities everywhere. So once I came here, learned the language, had there was one year I had like 13 jobs, probably like 13, 15 jobs, and just trying to figure out, like, get accustomed to the culture, the people, the language barrier and all of that. But I always knew I was meant to do more. It was always in the back of my head, like, okay, you're meant to do more. I just never knew what it was. And in 2017, I started my clothing brand. I started designing apparel. And from there, I stumbled upon custom shoes. And, that's what we do now. And my goal is to be the best in the world when people talk about custom shoes, make sure that our company it's right there.
Nice. So what company is that?
So my company is called GMRT Customs, and we specialize in making wearable art for entrepreneurs, celebrities, athletes. A lot of companies now. We're doing a lot of shoes for like companies, and it's a fun gig, man. You get to, like, I get to really connect with with businesses and people at a different level because it's just a shoe, it's like a piece of art that they're gonna rock or give to an employee or a friend. And I get to connect to with those individuals at a different level. And it's helped me, I like to say it's helped me speed up the process in a way, because I still got to do the work. But I can see, especially the high level CEOs that I work with, I can see that they're just regular people, just like you and me, and people that are watching this. They're just regular dudes. They just do the work every single day. So yeah, it's a fun gig, man.
Nice. Yeah, and I'd actually been I had been following your shoe company for shoot, I don't know, like 6, 7 months probably before we ever met.
Oh,
And
really?
when we met, I didn't even actually know that you were the face behind it. Just because so much of what you post is just some shoes and like
Yeah,
some really cool stuff, really cool content being posted there. And then we met. I'm like, oh, okay, that's you. But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, like definitely like the custom sneaker thing is a cool deal. Like a lot of people I don't think really maybe a lot of people know about it. I didn't, maybe I'm just old. Like I didn't really know about at least to the level that it existed until probably like a year and a half or so ago. But I mean, then I start talking about it, and of course my kids, they're like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that stuff's way cool. Like you got to check this out." And like
Yeah.
my middle daughter Arlie, she's all about it.
Oh, really? Yeah,
So
you were
so it's
telling me about that last week. I remember that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's like she'd probably spend every penny I had if I let her on shoes and stuff. She gets a new pair of shoes, and like within a couple weeks she's like colored on them and drawn on them and done all kinds of stuff, just kind of like make them her own. And
Yeah.
but yeah, so I think that it's one of the things that struck me about you that I met when we met. What it's been 2 months ago now, maybe that since we
Yeah.
met in person, um, was just the fact that you did immigrate here, and one of the things that's always been fascinating to me, the immigrant story is always such a good story. And you had touched on it a little bit that like you quickly realized this is like the land of opportunity. You saw that for yourself. And I think it's unfortunate that so many people don't see
Yeah.
that are born and raised in this country. But I've been fortunate to talk to a lot of immigrants over the years, and it's always fascinated me to hear them tell their stories. And like my grandfather and grandmother immigrated here from Italy, And um, I think my grandfather might not have been first generation. I really don't remember. That's shame on me. But they had that entrepreneur spirit. Like my grandfather owned a grocery store. After World War II, he got right into that and like did his thing. And I think it's just like with that in your story, like I think it's so important for people to really know like what life in Venezuela is like versus here, because it's not anything like what we have here.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's crazy because even with the situation that we're currently in the United States, it's still better than where I'm from. We take a lot of things for granted, and I think that's the biggest reason that we have a lot of issues here.
Mm.
It's because honestly, like I've seen some real issues, like the problems that we have here, I feel like they can be fixed quick, but seeing, like how many opportunities we have here, how many connections you can make, and really no matter what's going on, you can still start your business, you can still network, you can still do the little things, like even the fact that right now I can get on my car, or after this podcast at night I can go get on my car, nothing's gonna happen. That's a blessing, because back home, like I remember growing up, you're not leaving your house after 6 p.m. Nobody, because you're gonna like something's gonna happen to you if you're out there on the streets late at night. I've never really felt not safe here. I
Mm.
always, yeah, but I'm still cautious. It doesn't mean that I'm not cautious, but it's like it's being, I feel like growing up back there, back home in Venezuela, and now living here is giving me, an edge
Mm.
in a sense that I'm not taking it for granted. Not being, like knowing that if I do the work for a long period of time, things will happen. Back home, bro, like people will be starting businesses and they can, grow. It's like years. And I'm talking about like years, bro. The government controls literally everything. Technology is behind, like really behind. Even when we talk about here, like technology, and that we feel like we're so behind, not
Mm.
really, bro. We're ahead of everybody, the rest of the world. We just feel like we're behind, and because we feel like we're behind, I feel like we don't do anything. And but like to me, it's just been aware of the opportunity that I have of being here and not taking that for granted. Even when things have gone very hard, that I can tell you that it was like fuck, I don't even know how I'm gonna do this. I still think, like, to me this is the greatest country in the world. So I'm blessed to be here.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think it's great that you see that. And I really think that's what helps make you, you speak if we lose sight of that, we sit stagnant.
Mhm.
And I think
Yeah.
that's the problem, that so many people don't see that, and we're taught in our higher education systems and the universities, a lot of them are just saying like, no, like we're exceptionalism's bad, and we should just be given a paycheck regardless of what we do. And I just don't get it. Like I've worked since I was a teenager, and I've never stopped working, and I've even carried like second jobs, and it's just always been important to me to like work on things and build things, even if they don't even if they don't pan out. um just keep going and do something else. I mean, I can remember owning a grocery store, and I thought when my ex-wife and I purchased that, like that was it. Like, man, we're like upward bound now. And it was good. Like it was a really good learning experience. Once it started to fall apart though, that was just like an agonizing hell. I mean, it was horrible, but we survived, and we learned a ton from it. Both of us did.
Wow.
And to be able to at least have that knowledge, that I mean, we would have never had that knowledge if we hadn't taken that leap and at least tried it.
Yeah.
And that's never ended. I mean, that's gotten me to everything in my life, where I've just tried other things and dabbled in other things and did them, and then just let it be a stepping stone to the next thing, to where I am now and what I'm working on now. And I think that we just have to be able to take advantage of that. If we don't take advantage of what we can in this country, we're letting it go to waste.
Yeah, dude, and it's the little things. Sometimes we think it's like this massive thing, like oh, like the big house, and the car, and it's
Mm.
there's nothing bad about that.
No.
Having nice things is good, but like the basic things that we have here, it's like a lot of people don't have that. It's like
Mm.
outside of this country, because I even been to Mexico, bro. I was but I've been to, like, I like to call the real Mexico.
Mm.
Like, I went with one of my best friends. I went to his hometown, bro. It was 2 hours driving up a mountain. Like, bro, they didn't even have roads.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to go use the bathroom, you gotta pay for a sheet of toilet paper that it was this big. There's no, like, there wasn't water, like, or hardly ever water. Like, it's like the things that we have here. And dude, I remember being there for 2 weeks, and I'm like, I was happy, I had a blast, but I'm like, dude, I want to go back home. I
Yeah.
want to go back to In and Out, and then get my refill, and and live my life like that, bro. Even internet, bro. The internet was so slow, and at the time I was designing a lot of merch, and dude, and I was trying to send these designs. I couldn't get it, bro. Like, even the little things like the internet was very, very slow. Even back home, sometimes I try to call my mom, and I can't get through it because they don't have internet.
Mm.
They're like, there's no internet in the country. And you're like, how does that even happen?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And yeah, I mean, we are like so blessed to have what we have for sure. And I haven't seen it quite that rural in Mexico, but I the one time I was in Mexico, I can remember like if you got off the touristy strip, it was like crossing a street, and all of a sudden it was a different world. And
Mm-hmm.
like the deeper you went in, you're like, wow, it's just this isn't what I mean, what tourism shines on is not at all what Mexico is.
It's so true, bro.
And you know, we're like so blessed to have what we have.
Yeah.
So as far as like when did you start your apparel company and getting into that stuff?
So I started that in so the idea actually started in 2016. I went through this breakup, which is funny because it took a breakup to get me going. And like, it was very hard, but I had that chip on my shoulder, like, like, this girl that I thought I was gonna marry. Like, I literally thought I was gonna marry this woman.
Mm.
And I was like, it took that to, like, get me going on starting this idea. It was actually called Gym Rat, and I was into the gym, so I started designing merch for gym people.
Mm.
But quickly I got bored of it. I was like, dude, this gym people, they don't like designs. They just like simple, basic stuff. So I went into the streetwear style, and then there is where I started really dialing into, like, complex designs, like garment styles, like making sure, like, it feels good, it fits, proper. Dude, and it was good because you know, I opened a kiosk in 2019. I had a kiosk at a mall. And then I opened my first retail store a few months after that. And I remember, and whoever's listening to this, there's gonna things it's gonna happen in your journey that that at the time that it's gonna hurt you, or you're gonna be like, man, that guy was a dick, or that girl, like, whatever. But these are the things that are gonna make you, and you're gonna remember these things down the road and be like, man, I'm glad I went through that. So I had a kiosk at a mall here in Utah, and I wanted to open a store. I don't have enough inventory to open a store. I've never opened a store in my life. But I figure, okay, I have a kiosk. The next step is a kiosk. Sorry, a store. So I took over this old Payless shoe, and bro, it was a 3,000 square footage store. I don't have enough to fill that up. And I remember the general manager of the mall told me, I'll give you the store. He gave me the deal that I wanted, by the way. He
Mm.
2 months for free, And then the rent, like he gave me a good deal, but I also told me this: you're not gonna last after this deal was done. You like he clearly told me, like he looked me straight in the eyes. He's like, you're not gonna make it. And I was like, fuck, dude, I haven't even started. This guy already told me I'm not gonna make it. This guy's been in the mall business for fucking 30 years.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, bro? Now that you said that, I'm gonna figure this out. And bro, that was the best thing that it could have happened to me. This guy telling me I was not gonna make it, because it forced me to get better at my craft. So I have a retail store, and I mean, there's not a lot of people coming in and buying stuff because I don't have anything. Like
Yeah.
literally, it's empty.
Mm.
And people during the time, so when you're in a mall, you gotta work mall hours, which is
Mm.
horrible. You're open Monday through Sunday, literally 12, 15 hours a day.
Mm.
I don't have money to pay employees, so I'm working the retail store. I'm working the counter. And during those hours, man, I perfected my craft. I got very good at designing. I got very good at mastering like garments, presenting a collection, doing this, like tapping into like the culture and the style that I wanted to start selling my apparel to. And it was hard. Don't get me wrong, it was very hard. But it was, I had retail stores for about 3 years, 3.5 years.
Mm.
But dude, I grew so much on these 3.5 years because once I stopped doing that, bro, the way I like to explain people this, it was like they released this lion, bro. I was ready to eat everything because I've been stuck on a retail store, not being able to do really like all the stuff that I wanted to do. And once I stopped doing that, bro, it was like game changer. Like literally, bro, we grew, bro. Like the amount of growth that we had within a year, it was insane, bro. And like I've had like months that we were making more money than what it used to take me to make in 2 months. But how did I get to that point? And
Mm.
going back to, because I want people to really understand this. The 3.5 years that I was doing the retail store, mastering my craft. And eventually I started hiring people. I couldn't afford them all the time, but I
Mm.
also became a better leader so I could lead a team. And that's really my focus right now with GMRT Customs. Um, it's I'm leading the vision now. It doesn't mean I don't do shoes. When we get slammed, guess what? I'm in the lab with a team making shoes. But now I understand that for us to get to that next level, I can't be in the lab all the time. I gotta be focused on like marketing,
Yeah.
reaching out to people, networking, leading the vision properly, leading my team. I focus a lot on the things that really nobody sees, bro, which is kind of boring, if I'm being honest with you, because it's boring in the sense that there's a lot of stress. I kind of miss the days sometimes that it was just nobody knew who we were.
Mm.
And I mean, I'm not saying we're big, but I mean, like, no, like nobody was buying the shoes, and it was just me and Ozzy talking about like daydreaming. Man, I wonder if we can sell 2 shoes this month.
Yeah.
But now that I'm in it and we're doing crazy stuff, it's like, holy shit, man, this is real. And one of the things that I've realized, especially this year, man, that that it gives me massive respect for people that actually go out there and chase their dreams and actually really make something. I'm not saying the people that go and don't do anything. I'm saying the people that actually build something. Bro, it's hard, man.
Mm.
Very, very, very hard. It can get lonely. I'm not gonna lie, but it's something that if you whatever you want people want to do, whoever is watching this, is something that you gotta be okay with, knowing that you have an end goal. Why are you doing what you're doing? Okay, if you want to do this because you want to provide for your family, good. Know that maybe for 5, 6, 7 years, it's gonna be fucking hard,
Yeah.
like very hard. Or if you're doing this, I don't know, like for just to be rich, cool, that's all right. but just know that it's gonna take you a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of mistakes. Like even right now, bro, I'm paying for mistakes that I did in 2019, 2017, bro. Like stupid stuff. Like it's like, like for example, like I took this credit card in 2018, and I'm still paying for that.
Yep.
It's like the mistakes are still back there. Now I know not to do that anymore.
Mm.
Now I know, okay, how am I gonna manage our cash flow? How am I gonna give people raises? How am I gonna, market certain product? It's like, but I had to go through all the BS to get to a point that, okay, I kind of know. See, because I still don't know what I'm doing. If I'm being honest, like where nobody knows what they're doing too.
Mm.
Way, because I've asked a lot of high level people. I'm like, bro, give me the secret. There's no secret.
Nope. Yep.
There's absolutely no secret. But if you want to get to where you want to get quicker, I've noticed a lot of successful people, they do the same thing. If you can get good at mastering and observing how these people operate, there's no doubt in my head within a year you'll be 10 times ahead than everybody else that around in your life. Because
Mm.
I did it, bro. I going back to how I started with the custom shoes, and this is I really want to make this a big point, because I always wonder when my breakthrough was going to happen. And when I mean by breakthrough, it's like, after so many years you're doing something and nothing's really going your way.
Yep.
You're like, man, I don't know. Like, for me, it was like, dude, I was, I could barely pay my bills. I was driving a very shitty car, which I honestly, I miss that car, because that car I had it for years, because that was, I couldn't afford anything else, but it was a
Mm.
shitty car. It was even embarrassing taking girls out to date. I remember if girls wanted to go on date, I couldn't even pick them up. Or if I really wanted to show off, I will borrow my dad's car or somebody else's car, but I will not show up in my car because, dude, I didn't want to feel like a failure, But one, once I closed my retail store, which was actually a year ago last year, we're at that mark, and I decided to go all in on the custom shoes. Dude, it was the best decision that I've ever made, because I remember wondering at the time. See, last year, at the beginning of last year, I've never sold more than 2 pairs a month.
Mm.
But I've been doing the work behind the scene for years, even though nobody's buying the product. And this is why I want people to understand. Like, I'm doing the work behind the scenes. People, nobody knows if I'm selling 2 shoes, 1 shoe, 0 shoes, 100 shoes. But I'm still doing the work. I'm still making shoes that nobody's buying, because I was just we were making the shoes and they were getting set up in the store and nobody was buying them. But I kept doing that. I kept reinvesting that money back in the company. Me wishing that I don't know when this is going to pay off. I don't know when I'm going to have the breakthrough. And the breakthrough happened by something like, it's not even stupid, but I almost fucked it up. I really almost fucked this up. So this is why people need to always, stay true to yourself, and always know that the breakthrough could come up in different ways. Just be open to always showing up. So in September 2021, Dan Fleischman was hosting an elevator night. I got 3 tickets, and at the time I was this was September 2021, to be precise, and I was already quitting. I was giving up on the dream. 5 years, I'm 5 years in, bro. I can't even pay my rent, bro. At the time, my dad is helping me pay the rent, because if I can't pay my rent for my shitty apartment, My apartment, that apartment, bro, is even smaller than my garage right now, like
Mm.
half of that.
Yeah.
So my dad is helping me pay the rent because I couldn't stay in the store. There were times that I slept in my stores. Nobody knew that.
Mm.
Uh, and you know, I'm in the back in behind the scenes. I'm making moves to close everything. I'm closing the retail store. I'm not doing any more custom shoes. I'm not reselling sneakers. I'm not doing anything. Everything's gonna be shut down. I'm gonna go into construction. And but I kept going, you know, in a sense that we kept posting, we kept doing everything. Like the machine kept going, but
Mm.
nobody knew that in the backs, bro. I was ready to quit. I was done. I already was calling people. I'm like, okay, this is closing accounts. Like I'm already like making the moves. So I show up to, well, I wasn't gonna show up to the elevator. Now I got the tickets, and that day that the event was going on, I remember I had sold $64 in the retail store, and I'm like, fuck, this is nothing. $64, it's like doesn't cover anything.
Yeah.
If I close the store early, I'm gonna get fined $100. So here I am. Okay, do I close the store early and be negative because I'm gonna have to pay them all $100 because I closed the store, or do I say fuck it and just show up to this event? And I was like, you know what? I don't give a fuck. Sorry, can I swear here? I've been
Yeah, you're
swearing a
good.
lot,
You're
bro.
good. Yeah, we do it how it comes out.
Okay, so I'm like, bro, you know what? I might just fucking show up. If they want to give me a ticket, I don't care. I'm leaving anyways. I'm going out of business. They don't like, who cares? I close that store, bro. I show up to the event. I talk. The only person that I wanted to talk to was Alex Urban. I knew he was a sneakerhead. And I've been bugging Alex for fucking months, bro. Dude, help me build my shop. I was literally asking the most stupid questions now that I think about it. Like, help me build this, or how do I do this? And I remember the only time that he replied, he was like, okay, coaching is gonna be $3,000. And I'm like, fuck, I don't have $3,000. It
Yeah.
will take me a month maybe to even make that money. But even if I make that money, I need to put it somewhere else in the business. I don't have $3,000 to hire a coach.
Mm.
I show up and I tell him, I'm gonna do a shoe for you, bro. That's it. I take his shoe size, and bro, the rest is history. If I wouldn't have showed up to that event, bro, because that shoe, bro, opened all the fucking doors. So that shoe led to another client, which is now also one of my best friends right now. His name is Ryan Flynn. He bought a shoe, and he was my first client that came back to buy a second shoe. I've never experienced that. I was like, whoa, people really buy, these guys really gonna come buy a second pair? I was like, holy shit. So those two things that happened, bro, it was quick, short, but I can literally point out that, you know how when people say like life is about like very small choices, like that was it for me, man. If I would have not done that, I wouldn't be here, bro. And the beautiful thing about that is that since I was eating shit for so many years, bro, when the opportunity came, I was fucking ready, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm still hungry. I'm more hungry than I was when I wasn't making any money. I'm still operating like we're not making any money. I'm still operating with that mentality that, you know, there's another guy wanting to take everything from me, which is like, it sounds like everybody has their thing. That works for me. And I take pride on, like, even if I work on a weekend, bro, because when I had the retail store, I had to work weekends. To me, a
Yeah, and you
holiday,
put in
whatever.
a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I
Yeah.
have to work a weekend, bro, I embrace it even more now, because I don't really work weekends anymore. Like, and if I work, it's like texting, closing deals, whatever. But if I have to be here in the lab or in the studio doing something, I love it, bro, because it reminds me that shit, the hard work, it was all worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude. So
And I just have to say, like, that was like, you talked about like the little move. It was
yeah,
a little move, calculated, but it was a smart move
yeah,
because because I mean, I know Alex as well, not as well as you do, but homeboy's got a lot of freaking sneakers,
Yeah,
you know? So,
yeah.
so I mean, it's a great, then you gave him value before he was even a customer. And I think a lot of people lose sight of that and
Mhm.
in what we do, and just being able to get out there and just offer what you have and not expect anything in return. And a lot of times I think people question that are on the outside, they don't understand that. Like, well,
Yeah,
why aren't you charging them for that? And like, well, you got to help people. You got to add that value. Because if
yeah.
you're just all take, me, that reflects in a way different light. And then all of a sudden, nobody wants to do business with you because you're just this greedy, like money hoarding person that only cares about yourself.
Yeah.
So I mean, that was a smart move and calculated, and
And
I'm
here's
sure
the
that
thing, bro. Sorry, I don't want to cut you up, but
yeah, go ahead.
I want to make this point for whoever, is trying to build something. Even right now, I still give value first. Dude, there's a lot of free shoes that leave our studio every month.
Mhm.
And, you know, I'm building this company with zero marketing dollars. You know what my marketing is? It's word of mouth.
Yep. And
That's
that's
literally
been
my marketing, bro.
and that's been huge for you, just from knowing some of the other people who have gotten shoes from you.
Bro, it's like I'm like before I was wondering what's the perfect ad? What's the perfect, Facebook thing or email? No, bro. Right now it's word of mouth. And don't get me wrong, man, as we keep growing, we're making mistakes as we're going. And I really want people to understand this. You're gonna make the mistakes. The mistakes don't stop. Actually, the mistakes happen a lot now. Not in a way that it affects the customer, but
Mm,
if I don't catch it, bro, it could be bad. And there's been times that I don't catch it, and guess what? I own it.
yep.
It's the best thing, man. Like there's been times that I have to like own it, and I literally call the client and be like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry, this it didn't work out or whatever. Let me make it right." Here's the thing, let me make it right.
Yep.
And I go and make it right. And then it's funny enough because I have a client that it's top of my head. Last year when we messed up a shoe, but it was because it was a new style of shoe that we were working on. We didn't get to test a whole lot on how the material was gonna be on the shoe,
Mm,
bro. And we made a mistake on the shoe. I made him another shoe, and then on top of that, I gave him a killer deal on a second pair because he came back. But funny enough, he referred me to somebody else that is one of my biggest clients right now. And if I would have been like, oh fuck that guy, I'm
yeah.
better than him. I'm the artist. So I'm like, no, I swallow my ego and I'm like, you know what, we fucked up. And then I talked to my team, hey man, like, why is this happening? And then I owned it too because I didn't check it or whatever. And then we moved on. And dude, and then those mistakes become less and less. And this is what's interesting about that. If you're building a team, is that if you are okay with having uncomfortable conversations with your team, bro, those uncomfortable conversations get less harder.
Yep.
Like if I need to have a talk with my guy or anybody within my team, and it's gonna be hard. It's quick. Now it's super quick. Hey, bro, we fucked up here. Blah blah blah. This is how we're gonna fix it, and we don't talk about it again.
Yep.
We keep going, and that's been another like hack that I've been able to apply, and that's how I'm able to bring people in, and we can build this together.
And I think that's valuable just in life in general. I mean, like even in relationships, like sometimes it's hard to want to talk to your partner
Yeah,
about the hard stuff that you're going through, but that's the things that they need to hear the most because it takes them out of a place of fear
yeah,
into a place where they can actually know what's going on, understand why your attitude or your process is the way it is and why you're acting that way. And it's just all aspects. I mean, you just if so many people and myself included, I spent a portion of my life just running from problems. but when you just face them head on and just deal with it, life is so much better. Yeah, it might sting for a minute. It's
Yeah,
not going to be like, it's still going to be hard, but it is so much easier to just face it head on, knock it out, and be done with it.
100%. It's like if people can do that, man, and apply that not just like you said, not just on business, but on your personal life, on every relationship in your life,
Yep,
bro, that's game changer, dude. Because I
absolutely.
do that too. So it's funny that you're bringing dating. So I have a dating coach, and my dating coach, he talks about like communication and all of that, and it's very interesting how dating and business kind of like they're almost similar, bro.
Oh yeah.
Which is it's very, very weird if you don't like really know a whole lot about it. But I always been passionate about dating, and a lot of things that I apply on my own dating life, I actually apply it to in my business because they just match.
Mhm. Yeah, and it is very much alike. And even from the sense of like, I know Scott and Ann real well, Travis, and they run a like a coaching group for couples. And one
Yep.
of the things they talk about is having board meetings. That's something that it's just the business end of things. Just like in business, we have a, a focus on this is what we're doing this week. This is what we need to get done. It's the same in a relationship because there's bills to pay, there's schedules, there's kids, there's you know everything under the sun that happens in life, and it's an opportunity to be on the same page with your partner.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it really is, it is a business, and some people don't like to think of it as being like a business, but it really is.
Yep. So I'm just taking notes because you said something really good. And see, you said build a game plan like on business for every week.
Mm,
It's like, see, you gave me a nugget
there you go, I'm glad I could help.
because every time, especially right now that we're getting busier, and I'm building I'm like here trying to figure out how to build systems and how to like do all this stuff. And you just said something that like, dude, if I do that with what I'm trying to figure out here, fucking half of my problems are solved. So
Yeah,
there you go. Thank you for that nugget, bro.
yeah, anytime, man. Yeah, and it's true though. I mean, like I very much try to map out my week, knowing that
Yeah,
sometimes it's going to fall all apart just because of what I do for work and everything, and there's a lot of variables and unknowns. And but at least if you go into it with a plan and and kind of built a map of what your week looks like,
yeah,
you can at least follow it. And then you just are got to be flexible with it. You adapt as needed
yeah,
to stay on course. And maybe you get held up in one place but excel in another. And you kind of got to stay a little flexible. But I mean,
yeah.
it's better than going into the week with just saying, okay, it's Monday, it's time to get to work.
Yeah, and especially if you're running a business, you have to have schedule. You have to have like systems or things that help you, perform better at whatever task you're trying to do. Like one of the things that I do, which is this, is like how Andy talks about the power list.
Mhm.
So this is my power list. So I don't do it in the morning. Sorry, I don't do it the night before. I do it here when I get in the morning.
Nice.
Yes, I might be dealing with multiple deals at the same time, so I might have to be reaching out. But I build it in the morning. I got 5 things, and it's crazy if you just take care of your 5 things, your day like you have a win,
Yep.
and you just duplicate that again, duplicate it, and then pretty soon you'll realize that oh shit, I'm ahead of the game from everybody. But doesn't
Yes.
mean that the job ends.
No.
Doesn't mean that because see, I went through that a little bit last year. Um, uh, so like, dude, for so many years, like you don't know what winning is. Like, really, I never knew what winning felt like, and you start freaking tasting a little bit of what winning is. I will say that from August to mid September, I let go of the gas. And here's the thing, I'm comfortable enough to call on my own bullshit all the time. When I'm slacking, bro, I'm calling my own BS. And I remember, and I was like, dude, why are you like now that things are working, why are you slowing down, bro? Like this is where you should be like full gas.
Yeah.
And that was I had a wake up call there, and I'm like, you know what? That's when I understood when people say like once you get to the top, like the work never ends. I was like, that's a bunch of BS. And then I realized, no, that's actually very true.
Yeah. I think you just appreciate it a little bit different. Like as you grow, the things that used to be hard, you've done it so many times that it's a routine. So it's not really hard anymore. And because it's not hard, it makes it easier to add more things that are hard. And this is you just kind of get used to it. It's like yeah, it's kind of a crazy thing, but yeah, the work never does end. And I guess I would like compare it to like going to the gym, you know, a little 5 pound weight feels heavy at first, maybe not. Five's pretty light, but you know, you add 10 to it eventually, and then that's really light, and you add 15, 20. And so the work never changes. You just change how you do it. The load
Yeah,
changes, but as you get used to it, you get stronger
yeah,
and just roll with it. And I think that's great. And I can relate to that in a lot of aspects of my life. And a lot of the stuff that we talk about on this podcast a lot of times with PTSD about having to do the work and like get into a vulnerable place. This applies. I mean, we're not talking about traumatic events that you've been through, but these same things apply that when you're in a hard space, you just have to take the steps and be willing to improve and be willing to admit that you're in a hard place and be willing to talk to somebody about it, like a coach or a therapist or whatever that happens to be that meets the need. And you it's a launching spot and you just continue to grow from there. You just do the work little by little, tiny little bites, and eventually you just one day you're on the other side of it, and then it's a whole new thing that you're off and running to.
yeah. And it's, dude, and honestly, I think like with that, if people have, make sure that they align their life to things that they like, and then set up like good healthy habits and routines, even when things get hard, which they will, because life is seasons, man. You're gonna have winter, fall, spring. um you can always go back to like certain things that you did when things were working to
Mm,
get you back on track quicker.
absolutely.
I have those things in my life. Like there's certain things that no matter what, how my life is going, how chaotic, I will always do certain things. It's like 2, 3 things. And I know if I can stick to them, even though when I don't want to do them, I can just stick to it. Eventually, it's like, okay, we're good again.
Yeah.
Because, dude, I get it. Like, it's fucking hard, man. And I'm like, for everybody, man. Imagine if you're dealing with other stuff that nobody even knows, it makes it even harder. So
Yep.
I get that, man.
Yeah. And I think it's so applicable, and I love it that you shared what you shared about the difficulties and the trials and how you overcame them. And I think it's great that you stuck with it, because so often in our society, at least to me, it feels like it's very much just like, ah, fuck it, just quit. It's not working out. It's too hard. I'm just gonna quit. And if we quit every time something's hard, we never change. We never get ahead. We never better ourselves. And
Yeah.
especially if you're in those spots, like when you were thinking, I'm closing down the stores, this is it, everything's shutting down. I'm sure that was a dark place for you. I'm sure that was not a place where you were a happy guy. I mean, there was probably a lot of anxiety about bills and depression and
Yeah.
all those things that how are you going to cope with all this?
Yeah.
But you kept with it. And even if it hadn't worked out, you would have kept if you as long as you kept with something to move forward. But the fact that you didn't quit on yourself and you waited out, it allowed you to be in a better place.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like um a lot of people in my life told me to quit. as a matter of fact, everybody did.
Mhm.
I remember having conversations with like people, like some of my own family members, like, yeah, it's time to quit. And dude, like thinking about that, yeah, like I was not a happy guy at the time. Fuck, dude. Like I'm looking at, everybody, they're either getting married, they're buying cars, they have their corporate job or whatever. They got a steady paycheck coming in.
Mhm.
They have the girlfriend or the wife, they're traveling, and I'm fucking stuck in the retail store. Nobody's coming in, bro. You know what holiday I hated, bro? Now that you're thinking about it, which just sounds messed up because I'm talking here, I love America, but 4th of July. Can I tell you why? Because they made me open every 4th of July. And all of my friends were at
And
boats, this and that. And I'm like, fuck, I want to be over there fucking drinking and having fun with my homies, but I had to be in the store. Funny enough, last 4th of July, I I worked, but I chose to because I was like, I remember where was I the last 4th of July. I was in the stuck, and I remember that last 4th of July. Everybody had the day off, but I was working on my own shoe, and it's one of my favorite shoes. And every time I look at that shoe, I remember the day that the whole vision came in for that shoe. It was 4th of July. I was sewing it in the lab, and
nice.
it was so fun, man. Because like, here's the thing, like even though when people tell you, everybody may tell you to quit. If if you know deep inside that you believe that it's gonna work, you just having the belief that it's gonna work, that that's it. That's all you need. That if you can believe that, man, it don't matter how long this is gonna take. I'm gonna just keep pushing. It doesn't matter if my girlfriend breaks up with me. I went through a lot of breakups throughout my journey as a business owner. I just went through one in December, and if like having those things, knowing that throughout the journey there's gonna be obstacles, but your job is this is the obstacle, you jump, and that's it. You have to be okay with that. The if you're okay with that, there's not really a battle. You'll be like, okay, what's next? Like right now, things are looking good, and I know like something's gonna happen. Usually when things are too good, like I know like, oh shit. But I also went through a winter. December through February, bro. I went through a winter because I'm trying to grow this thing
Mhm.
to a whole different level that I don't know. I've never made it that level ever. So it's like I'm stepping into unknown waters. And then now this month, it's been like March, it's been like, okay, I see the picture. The vision is coming in. The deals that I need to get to that next level, they're coming in. And it's like, okay, it's like you breathe again. Even me knowing that this is part of the process, I still go through it. And it's funny because I ask a lot of these high level successful guys that I do shoes for, and dude, I can think of one right now. He's worth over $400 million. He's like, he just laughed at me. He's like, bro, this is never gonna end. I was like, all right, cool. I can sleep now.
Yeah.
So whatever your listeners that are listening to this, whatever they're going through, that actually you should take that as a good thing, because the moment you get to where you want to be, you can help people and tell them, hey, I went through fucking something even worse. Let me tell you how I got out of it, and now I'm here.
Yep. And that's exactly why I'm here. That's how I got here.
Yeah.
And the experience makes you an expert,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what that experience is.
Mm-hmm.
That
So
is that is awesome. That is so true. And yeah, that's awesome stuff, Rainey.
no, bro. I'm just like you, bro. I'm trying to inspire people. Um, I want to, especially with what I do, I really wanna, tap into like, like a lot of these artists or shoe customizers, whatever, they don't really tell you how they did it. They don't really tell you the darkness,
Mhm.
and I want to be that guy. I don't only want to be the guy that you see with the cool shoes and working. No, because that's not relatable.
Yeah.
Even when I don't relate to a lot of that stuff, and I'm around that circle. A lot of
Yeah.
stuff like me hanging out with my dog, bro. That's the best. I could be doing that all day long. If I don't
Absolutely.
have to go to an event or like like try to like talk to this guy about his like I will be just fine. But I understand I'm running a business, so but being around these people, man, has made me realize that you know we all have it in us. It's we're all gonna have our stories, right? And but those should be used to inspire people.
Absolutely.
They should not be used to hold us where we are. We and it's hard, man, because I've been there, man. When you feel like shit, man, like nothing's going your way, the world is against you, like fucking everything, man. You're like, dude, even me, bro. Like sometimes, like I wonder, like, man, when I go out to eat, I look at the Hispanic guy that's cleaning the table, or I'll take a peek in the kitchen, and I know the guy cooking the steak. It's a Hispanic guy.
Mhm.
I think about that guy, bro, because I used to be that guy, and I'm like, bro, like, sometimes I want to like tell him, dude, like, wake up, but no, 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 not everybody's ready for that. People are just like, but it's like that. That's what inspires me, and like I'm just happy that I get to do that.
Yeah, and that's great. And I love it. And I think that's why we connected too. Just because it's that story and shining that light. Um, we can't necessarily pull people in a direction, even though we know it's really good. And the same for anybody out there, but we just can shine our light as bright as we can and share our message, share our truth, which allows us to inspire other people to come out of darkness, to wake up, to see those things and go, oh, aha, there's more.
Yeah,
And that's what it's all about.
dude. And do you think, like, let me ask you this, like, for you, what's been, like the thing that's helped you keep going when definitely things don't look good?
For me, um, so like when I think back to like when I was in a really dark place and I was depressed and everything, once once I figured out for me that like the exit plan to just decide when I was done with life wasn't a viable option because I didn't want to drag anybody into it. I didn't want to hurt anybody with it. Once I realized that like okay, you can't exit this life on your own terms
Yeah,
without hurting other people. Once I realized that, I was like, well, I'm in it now. So I might as well figure it out. I can sit here and be just miserable and drink myself to death slowly, or I can figure this out. And so for me, it was just those steps and knowing that like it felt good when I did this little step, go to the therapist that I didn't want to go to and talk about shit that I didn't want to talk about. But you get done with it and it just kind of felt a little bit lighter. I was tired, worn out, but I felt like I'd gotten some crap taken care of. And then to just go and do that again, and then to go do the different treatments, and then actually start integrating those things into my life that allowed me to where getting out of bed no longer felt like the accomplishment of the day. And now I was able to add things to that like no, I'm going for a walk every day, or I'm working out, or reading, doing something that brings me some joy, that allowed me to have peace. And I think that's key, that anything we do, we have to have something that recharges us. and it can't just be all work, it can't be all just depression, it can't be all just whatever. There has to be something, that one thing that just gives you a little bit of joy. And I tell people all the time, maybe that's just like getting up in the morning and sitting out on the back porch with a cup of coffee and listening to the birds chirp for 15 minutes while you sip your coffee. Maybe that's all it is. Maybe it's sitting on the couch and reading a book. Maybe it doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's something that makes you feel good, and just always giving time for that. Even when you don't want to do it, know that it's that one thing that when you get done with it, you're going to be glad you did it.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it's so true. And now that you're saying that, it's like I think about like, really relates to like business and personal. Like
Mm,
they're literally the same.
they
Those
are.
things are the same. And having those, what doing something that makes you happy, that's not, it's funny because uh I talked to Alex about we talk about like how he takes pictures.
Mm,
He's really good at taking pictures. And it's funny because he told me this that he really like impacted me, which on a good way. He's like, somebody wanted to pay him to take pictures of them because he's a good
he's a
photographer.
very good
And,
photographer.
and he's like, no, he did it for free because he's like, this, me taking pictures of my friends and my people makes me happy.
Mm,
I don't need to get money out of this. I don't need to get anything out of it. Just the joy that I'm helping somebody. And that makes him happy. That's one of the things that he does outside of, Lines Not Sheep and marketing that makes
mm,
him happy. I
yeah.
got my own things. Like I love walking my dog and going to a chiropractor, bro. I love like and energy work. I got like five things, bro, that like if I can do that, I'm happy. And it's not crazy. It's like little things that, or something that I've been enjoying lately is like if somebody needs help, in a sense that I know I'm just probably a few steps ahead of them, and I can give him that nugget. But here's the kicker: then I follow up 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If they apply, I'll give you another nugget. If you don't apply, I know I'm wasting time.
Yeah, definitely.
So
That's awesome. That's funny. I got a little notepad sitting here with people that I have to call and check in on this week,
hey,
that talked about like getting some treatment plans and different things together, and helping them kind of get back on track. And that's one of the things I do. I follow up, and I make it easy that I'll follow up. I don't like, hey, call me in a week. I'll
yeah,
follow up, and then just see where they're at. It's a huge thing, because if they've taken the steps, then you're like, hey, that's good, you can keep encouraging people, and then you give them that next little bit, just like you were saying. um yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff that I've learned to fill my life with, that are just little things. And like there's a lot of days, like I post about it probably way more than I should, but like, yep, went to the gym, sure as hell didn't feel like it today. But there's a lot of days I don't want to go work out. I mean, my day starts at 4 a.m. and a lot of times I don't get to work out until in the evening. And I'm like, dude, I'm tired. I don't want to do this.
4 a.m., bro.
But I'm always happy when I'm done. Like, you get done and like you got the sweat going and the endorphins and the blood's pumping, and you're done. And you're like, yeah, I did that. I killed that. And it's done with now. I can check it off my list. I didn't want to do it, but I did it. And but it ends up being a rewarding thing. But then there's little things too. Like I rarely have left the house without meditating in the morning since I started meditating. And that was such a hard thing for me to do. Like, I told Brittany all the time, I was just like, yeah, I don't know about the meditation thing. I can't do it. It's dumb, whatever. And she's like, no, really, you should figure it out. Like, just go online, talk to people, whatever. And so I started doing it late last year, and it's been phenomenal.
How
Like,
many minutes do you do, bro?
I usually do about 15 minutes.
Dude, I
And
haven't gotten that far yet. I'm like 10 minutes right now, and it's hard.
yeah, and 10 seems to be like the sweeter spot. 15, and I don't know, sometimes it takes me like the first part of it to get into it. Like my mind is bouncing all over the place and I keep trying to like stop thinking, just focus. And then it seems like I get like in that zone the last few minutes, or what I would assume would be the last few minutes. So, I mean, maybe I should go longer, but 15 minutes is hard. It's a stretch. So I kind of go back and forth on 10 or 15 minutes, but depending on how much time I have during the day. But 10's definitely more manageable than 15, but I'm still like, so there's mornings where I'm like, I don't know why I did that, because all my mind just bounced all over the place the whole time. But
Yeah.
knowing that I at least took the time to do it,
Mhm.
at least I made the effort. Like it didn't necessarily work out the way I wanted it to, where it was just, but it still gave me something. I still gained from it.
And that's giving you the reps for when you are doing 20 minutes. You'll be
Yep.
looking at like, fuck, that guy was doing 10. Now I'm doing 20.
Yeah.
So it's a good perspective to have, like, because that perspective literally can apply on every aspect of our lives.
Yep. Absolutely. And it's what you got to do. I mean, just start small, whatever
Mhm.
that little step is, and then just build on it.
Yeah, dude, it's very important having that, and I want to get more into like meditation, dude. I'm like 10 minutes to me. It's like that's it, and I'm like you too, bro. Like I don't know the first what it feels like the first 7 minutes. It's like me, thoughts all over the place.
Yeah.
But I wanna start doing more. I'm thinking about actually adding like another 10 minutes in the middle of the day, just like randomly, because this is something that I picked up from a few clients too. I visited some clients, and I don't know, in the middle of the day, they're meditating. And I'm like, okay, this guy is worth more than what I am. He has a big company. He has a lot of things that I want. Let me take that with me. And I don't even tell
Yep.
them. Actually, a lot of the things that these guys do, like, and that I'm doing now, I don't even tell them. I just pick it up, whatever
Yeah.
works, and then I go. And then, but it's interesting because then you'll start seeing that some of them will let you know, like, hey, I see you. They'll let you know. That's another thing that I've
Yep.
noticed. Like, if you build a really good community, with your business, your relationships, your people will let you know, like, hey man, like I see you. They might not like tell you that all the time, but one they'll let you know in some shape or
Yep.
form that I see you. You're doing the work.
Yep.
And
It's funny too what people notice, because I've had that, and like I know we've actually had exchanges about that too. That like you'll just one day it'll just click, and you're like, man, like look at them. They just like they changed. It's all, and but
yes,
it's like this good change. It's not like now you're a dirt bag or something. It's just like, no, I can see like you can went from here to here. And
yep.
it's just one day you notice it. And it's always awesome to get told by somebody that they see you. But it's
Mhm.
also really awesome to tell somebody, because I don't think we always recognize it, because we're so stuck in this like cycle of trying to improve and do better, that it gets really hard to see where we've been. Like I use the analogy of like climbing a mountain, that periodically you have to look behind you to see how far you've come, or you're just in this endless cycle where it's just looking at the ground and it's one foot in front of the other and you never feel like you're getting anywhere.
Dude, that's really good perspective, because if you could get caught up like not being grateful how far you've come. One thing that I do now that you just brought that up is uh, I actually did this again last Saturday. I went to breakfast, and then I went to all the malls that I was in. I was there for like 20 minutes on each mall. Like I just
Mm.
walked around, and then I walked in through my first store. I looked at it. I was looking at the wall. I was looking at the ceiling. Like I looked at the carpet. There was some holes in the carpet, and I remember that because I cut those holes to build something, and it was a good perspective to be like, holy shit, I've come far.
Yeah.
Because when you're in it, bro, you and people that are watching this, whatever you're trying to fix, whatever journey that you're in, a lot of times when you're in it, you don't see the growth and you feel like shit, I'm not good. Why is this not working? No, you need to go look back. Oh, damn, I've come far. And then keep going.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. 100%. And
So
I think that that's what the name of the game is for everybody out there that is struggling. Like just take a minute to look back where you've been, and if you don't like where the ground you've covered, keep going.
yeah,
Like keep moving forward and then periodically look back.
yeah,
It's a remarkable thing when you look over like weeks, months, years, and how much things have changed and how far you come. And you just got to keep going. Don't dwell on it, but just recognize it that every hard time was a stepping stone. It was an opportunity to learn and to grow.
yeah.
And the good times are the same. But I do think the hard times are the ones that make us.
I, dude, I agree 110% on that, bro. Like, like it's when it's hard when you really get real growth. When you're happy, your belly's full, like it's fun, it feels good, but you don't really grow in that zone. So I've noticed that always being aware that everything's a season. It's very it has been game changer for me because I've dealt with it like this year, bro. Like I mean, if you look at the numbers, we're good. I'm like I don't have to keep thinking more.
Mm,
But it's like, okay, once you really like in the game and you like realize that, there's like levels in this and I gotta do this and I gotta do that. And you start getting uncomfortable, and you get on that and that darkness. Cause I like to call it like, I don't know if you have you read Tim Grover's uh, Relentless?
I haven't.
He talks about like the dark side and all of that. So like, and he literally says like, um, uh, taking a trip to hell, because that's what winning does. Like when you win, you go up, you win, and then you gotta go back again and take that trip up again.
Yep.
And that's where I like I experienced that this year. Like we started winning and all of that, and then I'm like, okay, what's next? So for me to figure out this next step that we're heading into, I had to take a trip back to hell, and it wasn't fucking pretty, man.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: I still gotta keep going. I still have to, show up for my team, for my clients, my friends. But I'm doing the dirty work in the back when nobody's seeing. After
Yep.
everybody goes home, I'm here in the whiteboard, writing things down, following up with like people, like clients, designing, like thinking, okay, how can I give this guy, my one of my employees, this raise? How can I do this for that person? It's like, but here's the thing: when people are listening to this, if you really want it, oh man, it will be the best trip of your life, because it doesn't like you start seeing that. And I notice this when I go outside and I have interactions with people. A lot of people are dead.
Mm,
They're giving up in life.
yeah. Yeah. It's a bunch of zombies.
I don't want when people come talk to me, bro. Let's go. What do you want to talk about? Aliens, going to the moon, dating, woman. You tell me. I'm down to talk about anything. But a lot of people are dead, and it's sad, man. It's like very sad. Like I see it, I'm like, man. But it's like we don't have good leaders right now. If you
Yeah.
think about that, we don't have good leaders, and they do all these things like in the world, man, just to make us feel like shit, bro, which
Yep.
sucks.
Yep. Absolutely. But yeah, Rainy, man, I couldn't agree more. I'm excited to get together with you again real soon and
Yeah, bro.
hang
No,
out
and
and
thank you
talk.
for having me, dude.
Yeah, anytime.
It was fun. I need to get you on mine now.
Yeah, yeah, I'm down. Let's schedule that out. I'm always happy to make a trip down your way. I love it down there.
Dude, I actually want to do one in the lab.
Nice.
I haven't recorded a podcast in there, so yeah, we'll plan something fun.
Yes, that sounds great.
All
Well,
right.
yeah. Yeah, well again, guys, Rainy Villarreal, and I'll put his social media links for his Instagram and for GMRT Customs in there, and check his stuff out. Like, um, I'm just like some country guy, and like I saw his sneakers, and I'm like, oh, I can get behind those. Like, there's some cool stuff that they put together. So check it out. Thanks for coming on again, Rainey, and sharing with us. Um, Anything hard in life. I mean, business, mental health, all of it. It's the same thing. We just got to take those little steps, guys. I appreciate you, Rainey, for coming on and sharing with us again. And we'll see you guys next week on another episode of Free in Your Mind podcast. Love you guys. God bless.